I'm Dr. Jill Weiner. I'm coming to you today from my beautiful meditation studio here in the Kirkwood neighborhood of Atlanta, Georgia. I am a physician. I practiced internal medicine for 10 years, and then after some really profound, life changing experiences with meditation, I decided to focus my time and energy on bringing this beautiful practice that I call conscious health meditation to my clients and my students. What I'd like to talk to you today is about a little bit about stress and something we call adaptation energy. What if I were to tell you that there was no such thing as an inherently stressful situation or demand? You'd probably look at me like I was crazy, and then you might say, I wonder why she's asking me this question. Maybe she's onto something. So what happens is we have something in our body called adaptation energy. It's our bank account of patience. It's our ability to adapt to any situation that life throws at us and to respond. And if we have enough of it, we can respond in a way that is relevant and productive, and we can keep our cool. And if we don't have enough adaptation energy, we end up having a stress reaction, and we end up which is the fight or flight response, and that's a chemically dependent reaction that happens in our body. The chemicals are the stress chemicals that we make: cortisol, norepinephrine, and adrenaline. And once that happens, it turns us into a crazy person. We get road rage. We yell at people that are at the Target customer service counter, which may or may not have happened to me before I learned to meditate. And we have these stress reactions that turn us into crazy people, and then we end up really regretting our behavior. So the key really here is let's maximize our adaptation energy. So I'm going to illustrate this to you. I'm going to take you through a day in the life of adaptation energy. The first thing I want to tell you is, what do we normally do to increase our adaptation energy? The most important one is usually sleep. And then also anything we find to be restorative. Eating well, exercise can do it. Probably not running a marathon, but maybe some less intense exercise. You like working on cars or gardening or knitting or cuddling with your dog, any of those things are going to increase your adaptation energy. What's going to decrease your adaptation energy is any demand that is thrown at you that is against your expectations. So if you are expecting a sunny day and it's raining, that's going to zap a little bit of your adaptation energy, and so on. So what I am going to do is take you on a little journey here on my wonderful whiteboard. So basically here we have adaptation energy. The very bottom here is our scale is 0. 10, you see a frowny face. 10 is our pretty arbitrary set point of when I'm going to lose it. So if my adaptation energy level in this situation gets down to 10, and this illustration gets down to 10, that's when I'm going to have a stress reaction and lose my cool and start yelling at people. And then we typically start the day, let's say, with about 25. So I'm going to take you on an adventure, a first world problems adventure of the worst day in the world, and show you how adaptation energy can support us, and also, if we run out of it, turn against us. So we start off the day with 25. And let's say the first thing that happens is our alarm clock goes off late, and we have a really important meeting that we need to get to at work, or we have some homework we need to work on early. The energy goes down to 21 because we have to spend that adaptation energy on this change in expectation. So then the next thing that happens is we just got this new coffee maker for our birthday, and it is time to make coffee for us so that it's ready, freshly grind these wonderful organic, sustainably produced coffee beans and make delicious coffee for us. And we realized the power went out. That's why our alarm didn't go off, and also our coffee didn't make. So we end up not having any coffee. So our adaptation energy level goes from a 21. Now it goes down to a 18. And then we say, you know what, I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to get some coffee there. And then I'm going to get my favorite paleo, vegan, sustainable, organic, low sugar, high protein muffin that I love to get there. And it's just so delicious. And I'm going to get that there. And then we get to Starbucks. And they do not have the paleo, gluten-free, vegan, organic muffin, and we're so mad. And at this point, so our adaptation energy level goes from an 18, now we're down at a 15. So 15. And we're starting to wonder why the universe has it out for us, but we're not quite losing it yet. And we decide, I'm going to get the ham and cheese croissant because that's what I really wanted anyway. We get our coffee, we get out to the car, and we see we've gotten a parking ticket. And so now our adaptation energy level is a 12. And at this point, we're really quite convinced that this is the worst day of our life. But we power through, we drive to work, there's some traffic, we finally find a parking spot, and then we go into our work and we check our email. And the first thing we see is an email from our colleague who is supposed to work on this presentation with us, and they're telling us that they are sick and they can't come in. So our adaptation energy level goes from a 12 down to a 9. And now, as I said before, when we cross this threshold of 10, that's what turns us into a crazy person. So what do we do when our level goes below 10? We get angry. We start, cursing at that person. We send them back some nasty email right away. Our heart's pounding. We, maybe sweating a little bit. We talk trash about that person to anyone who will listen. And we are kind of out of control of our response here, our reaction. And then what happens is probably about 45 minutes later, we start to calm down, our heart rate slows down, we start to realize, wow, they really did sound sick. It sounds like they got some food poisoning, and maybe I shouldn't have said that, and maybe I'm the worst person in the world, and maybe, I shouldn't have reacted, and I'm a good person, and they've been good to me, and what does that say about me, and what am I going to say to them? And we can spend minutes to hours to days to weeks to months of our lives obsessing about these stress reactions that we've had that really have nothing to do with who we are as a person, but it's physiology. If we get below the set point of adaptation energy, we're going to have a stress reaction. And if we had gotten that email earlier in the day when we had 25 points, we would not have responded. It would have just dropped our adaptation energy, maybe let it level down maybe to a 24 or a 23 or a 22, and we would have been fine with it. But then maybe later in the day, something else would have made us turn into a crazy person, like they didn't have the right kind of sandwich we wanted for lunch, or we had to stop for gas on the way home and it made us late, and then we turned into a crazy person having road rage. So the idea is it's not inherent in this email from the colleague. It's where we are at in terms of our adaptation energy stores. So how does conscious health meditation help with adaptation energy? That is something that I will invite you to watch in my next video about how meditation helps us from having stress reactions and what we can do to make ourselves the calmest, most adaptable versions of ourselves so that we go through the world in a relevant way and are able to be as fulfilled and happy as possible. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can look at my website, www.jillweiner.com, JILLWENER.com. Thank you so much.